Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and welcome back to stage 4 of the CDL. Certainly a quick day, but not without its spiciness, certainly in these couple of series, especially the first one, Atlanta FaZe versus Seattle Surge, as you might predict with these two teams. Intrigued to take your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you were new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, thought this was funny from the Miles Ross fan club, stating that Atlanta FaZe are making a roster change, but it's not Arcitys out of the team, it's actually Arcitys and Miles taking turns every single day, so clearly that is why Atlanta FaZe had a pretty solid series, all things considered today. These were the two games, FaZe versus Church, Empire versus Gorillas, two favourites going in, but I suppose especially in the second series the favouritism was not exactly meant to be favoured quite as much as it ended up being. This first game was very interesting though, because aBeZy was talking on the Breaking Point podcast a few days ago, the fact that even against OpTic, they were trying some maps in their map pool that they don't usually try. It's incredible to think that FaZe are just that good, that they can put maps into these map sets that they're not actually that good on and don't play too often, not exactly playing their best maps, just so they get some more repetitions on some of these other ones. Up against OpTic a few days ago, they were going to play Apocalypse Hardpoint in map 4 and Miami Search and Destroy in map 5 if it had gone a distance, and here you see up against Seattle Surge, they allow Checkmate through. Now Checkmate is not a map that they usually play, I'm pretty sure they were 3 in 3 on it so far this season, and well, they decided to go up against Seattle Surge and at least leave it in the map pool, something that they will usually ban out of there, and it doesn't necessarily go their way early on, but the rest of the series you see maps that FaZe generally play relatively often, but still pretty crazy to see the fact that FaZe just come in here and play maps they're not familiar with, so that when they expect to be in the grand finals again at the next major, as they have been every single major so far, in that best of 9 they are best prepared to face all of those 9 maps that they are going to have to play. So very important to have a deep map pool, and this is honestly an ideal spot for FaZe to practice some of these maps in an official match setting. Game 1, it was a very interesting one actually over on this Checkmate Hardpoint. Early on, Seattle had a lead, and it was kind of strange really, the fact that they had so much of a lead, and then FaZe had a great break towards the P5, which is the biggest money hill statistically on that map, I am pretty sure, and well, FaZe managed to get in that, but still, I mean, Seattle Surge bring it round, they get a nice hold on the P2, but FaZe have, well, honestly, it was great work from them, all things considered. aBeZy was especially phenomenal. He just has these, like, this is the thing with FaZe, right? Even when they're not having the greatest map as a team, aBeZy, already any of their players can just take over the game at any moment. This time it was aBeZy in and around that plane, goes on like some crazy streak through the middle there, kills like the entirety of their team. They break P1 from the back, then they hold over towards, well, P5, then P1 to finish off the game. aBeZy was going absolutely rampant for several minutes, and I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, right? If you've ever used a 74U in League play particularly often on Checkmate Hardpoint, it can be a tough time running into head glitches of assault rifles, but aBeZy just makes it work time and time again. 34 in 24 to finish off this game on. Classic were not the prettiest one at 15 in 27, and yeah, he really has a pretty tough series for the second series in a row. I think he dropped a 0.7 just the other day. This one I'm pretty sure was even worse, all things considered, but then again, we've seen many great players drop pretty poor numbers against Atlanta FaZe in recent times. That is something that this team tends to do to you. Then we go into this game 2, Raid Search and Destroy. This was a map that Seattle Surge was so good on at the start of the year. Pretty sure it was their 4th or 5th or something along those lines, defeat in a row now on this Raid Search and Destroy map that, as I said, they were so good at towards the start of the season. But of course, FaZe are very good at this map as well. This was especially kind of spicy really from aBeZy, the fact that, I mean, Octane was stuck on this ledge outside here. aBeZy and Simp, the tiny terrors, flew out of the window, took him down without too many issues. aBeZy shot his body a couple of times with a pistol, then defused the bomb, then shot his body once again. And quite often we see that shooting bodies comes back to bite certain teams in maps like this. Doesn't happen this time, but it almost did, certainly. And this is the thing with FaZe, right? Not only are they playing maps that they're not really used to, just for practice, they're going around shooting bodies at these players like they're pro-professional players, just taking the mick effectively out of these teams, just because they know they are so good. And I mean, I must say, like, it is very entertaining. You never know what these FaZe guys are going to do, try to assassinate people in grand finals of majors, as we have seen so far this season. They close out this game. This was just a tough one for Seattle to lose, right? They're up 5-3 in this. A couple of rounds don't go their way, and then this final round as well, just the takeover performances come there from FaZe. It almost felt like FaZe were like, alright lads, let's just flip the switch and actually win this map. They win 3 rounds in a row to take it 6-5, and I mean, yes, again, Seattle lose a very, very close map indeed here, but I mean, this is just what FaZe tend to do, and this was Seattle's chance, right? We talked about it earlier today. If you are going to take a series off FaZe, you've probably got to go 1-1, you've then got to take it to a game 5 and somehow snag that one, but yeah, is not going to happen. And Express is a map they certainly could have done it if it had gone to game 5. Pretty good for Surge, not so good for Atlanta FaZe so far, but FaZe decide, yeah, that's not going to happen, and honestly, that was just such a dagger, right? You know that when a team loses a map like that, especially a team that's already in a bad spot, such as the Seattle Surge, classic with a nice 2-piece right here, but it does not help. FaZe just ridiculously good at control, a 3-0 sweep in the control, or maybe, I'm pretty sure sure, yeah, it was a 3-0 sweep in the control, and also a 3-0 sweep on the day for Atlanta FaZe. They've done it again. Couple of close maps early on, most certainly, but still, we see FaZe sometimes playing to their competition. They had a close series against Paris up the other day, but yeah, against Seattle, no real competition, and these are the statistics across the board. We actually saw Cellium had a phenomenal control, aBeZy with a 1.4, Simp and Arcitys just kind of chilling, and Classic here after his 0.7 the other day drops to 0.57, so yes, not great at all. I mean, his debut on this team has not been spectacular by any means, and obviously they've played difficult teams, but yeah, is it anything that we didn't necessarily predict and couldn't have predicted a couple of weeks ago? On the other side of things, Cellium and aBeZy both plus 17, quick 3-0, just yeah, monstrous performances out of the FaZe guys. As FaZe say, all in a day's work, our 10th 3-0 clean sweep of the season, the most out of any team in the Call of Duty League. Just remarkable how good these guys are right now. Octane not particularly happy with things. GG's FaZe lost 0-3. Not exactly unexpected, but at this point, if you're Seattle Surge, if I'm the management over there, you've got to think about how do I just chalk off this team as soon as possible? What do I do? And as Octane says right here, the timing sums up this year so well. This was in the control, and as he said, this was pretty much to lose the round. It was a pretty crucial gunfight that comes down, gets bad timing on Arcitys, certainly, and obviously these types of things are unfortunate, but of course, you know, statistically in the Search and Destroy, I think Octane was like 3-9, I think Classic was like 1-9, Gunless actually, I didn't even mention that, he was 14-8 in the Search and Destroy, or something like that, dropped almost 3,000 damage, but to no avail, had yeah, a very poor Search and Destroy for the rest of the Seattle guys. Gunless was doing his utmost to try and help them win it, but yeah, didn't really get too much support in that one, and here on the control, Octane obviously is getting unfortunate timing, and as he says in reply to John, that one fight ended the map, cannot make this stuff up right now, but of course, already down 2-0 at that point, the vibes were probably somewhat killed. As Prestinni does say though, enjoying COD a lot more lately, and as a team, I think we're making good progress. Up against Atlanta FaZe, you don't often get too many opportunities to show how good you actually are, because FaZe have that ability just to bowl you over at any moment, but still, I mean, Paris put up a better fight the other day, and you gotta think if you're Seattle Surge right now, you're in a pretty tough spot, and that statistic we talked about on the Breaking Point podcast a couple of days ago, the fact that maybe I even mentioned it in a video as well, Seattle Surge had 28 map wins this season, Atlanta FaZe had 24 series wins, FaZe are catching them up now at 25 series wins to just 28 map wins still for the Seattle Surge. Remarkable scenes. Let's talk about this final series of the day then, Los Angeles Guerrillas versus the Dallas Empire. We saw the other day Dallas versus London Royal Ravens or whoever it was playing that game of Connect 4, and I mean, yeah, stop stalling at the Dallas Empire, say Los Angeles Guerrillas, and this was kind of funny before the game even kicked off. There was some talk about it, yeah, Shotzzy, he's got this kind of buzz cut thing going on, seems to potentially be the factor for these guys on the Dallas Empire. This of course was a massive series for them. Up against LAG, we saw a pretty similar thing really when OpTic played LAG at the start of the Stage 3 Major, right? They go in there, they have a relatively close series, they win it 3-1, they lose map 1, I think Garrison hardpointed OpTic at the time, then they won the next 3, bounced back in that, and then made that monstrous losers bracket run where they went all the way to top 4, winning 10 maps in a row during that run. Now, you know, Dallas Empire could be in a similar spot, right? LAG is that type of team that you should beat, but it's not always going to be easy, and if you do get past them, that kind of, well, spurt some momentum for your squad. And game 1, very hot, honestly, from the Dallas Empire. It was pretty close down to the wire, but I mean, it was Shotzzy just putting on an absolute clinic here, to be honest. The statistics from the other guys on the team, up and down, nothing spectacular really from CleanX and Vivid. They were doing their jobs, and this is the thing, right? Shotzzy is just completely taken over as he does. Not too many players in the game can take over as this man does, and when he does, not much you're going to do on the other team. However, I am yet to see a series in which Shotzzy doesn't go off, and this team actually does well, right? That is the issue. We saw this really when Huke was in the team before, maybe in the latter half of Huke's tenure when Shotzzy was starting to really hit this crazy MVP form, really, that we are seeing from him now, and we saw from him this time last year, but the team as a whole just isn't there to give him that MVP caliber as he achieved last year in CDL for 2020, but he's certainly hitting that degree of form, and that's the thing, right? If you're Dallas Empire, you walk away from this series feeling like, okay, yeah, that was very nice indeed, but if Shotzzy doesn't go off and goes crazy, then do we actually have the firepower to get over the line in some of these series, especially against some of the higher firepower related teams? But I mean, yeah, Shotzzy was completely doing it all for them that map. I mean, as you can see right now, already 11-4, 2 in the final round already, before he gets these final 2 kills to close it out with a pretty spectacular race. Got a number of great kills there, so 12-4 in the Surge, double positive in the respawn, and then in the map 3, he pretty much did his job as well in the control to get them over the line. So this game 2 was actually pretty impressive from Dallas, the fact that, I mean, he gets streaks right here. Usually Los Angeles Guerrillas very good at this Miami Search and Destroy, not quite this time. Shotzzy gets the job done, pretty spectacular fashion, and well, yeah, 6-3 for the Dallas Empire. And then this final map as well, the real question was who's going to win this control, because I think the Dallas Empire were 2-6 on Garrison control coming into this Garrison control, and Los Angeles Guerrillas were 1-6, but as of late, Empire have just been absolutely tragic in control, and an 8-game losing streak. I mean, look at this, in terms of record record attacking rounds, attacking KD on a, well, pretty much the worst in the entire league, regardless of, I think, a couple of things which may belong to the Seattle Surge, because as Chrome points out right here, in terms of the quick scope for this series earlier in the day, Seattle are 3-17 in control this season. That is absolutely outrageous scenes, but Dallas actually on a longer losing streak in that game, but doesn't end up this way. Dallas clutch a nice couple of rounds right here, and honestly there were some other players coming to play in this one. Wasn't just the Shotzzy show. ILLey had some great moments here, 24-14, as you can see, to close out the game. Does end up falling short, but the rest of the Dallas guys clean up the job. So LAG, a 3-0 defeat, pretty, well, not exactly what you wanted from them. This was a series where Dallas were looking vulnerable, a great opportunity to at least give yourself a shot to get in the play for the championship with a world championship in just a couple of months' time here. Expected to be about August time if you guys are wondering. But yeah, Dallas Empire, they have a great series. This is the thing though to me, right? Against teams that do have greater firepower, are they going to be able to compete quite like this when they don't have Shotzzy putting up absolute numbers? As Crim says, pulling this back, we've had a tough time as of late, most certainly. And as Rambo says, super solid sweep from the guys. GG's to LAG, getting our feet back under us. Just have to keep building off our work and we'll be back where we want to be. In terms of statistics, as you can see right here, Shotzzy has a 1.74, plus 23, Crim with a 1.18, ILLey with a 1.11, Vivid kind of, doing whatever is necessary. And this was the thing, right? I really want to see a takeover series from Vivid before I'm convinced this team is actually going to work out, right? Because if Shotzzy's dropping a 1.7, what if he doesn't drop a 1.7, right? Where do you sit then against some of the best teams in the game? Still some questions to be asked about the Dallas team, but when they were firing on all cylinders, as they were at times throughout this series, and Shotzzy's going off as he was, they are going to be a tough team to handle. That is at least guaranteed. But intrigued to take your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Like you enjoyed this content, other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.